Let's see if I can share my screen. How's that sound?
Sounds awesome.
And see how that works, maybe.
Do you want to share a little bit about yourself first and what you do and how you got started? Just like a 2-second thing.
I can, I suppose. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, my name's Erica Larson, and I am a full-time nursing instructor for the University of South Dakota, their nursing program here in Sioux Falls, which is kind of nice because I don't have to commute very far. We live outside of Sioux Falls, but I have been doing Beachbody for, let's see, January will be 3 years when I started doing Beachbody, and coaching. I've been coaching for about just under 2.5 years. And I say coaching for just under 2.5 years kind of loosely because I think for the first year that I was officially a coach, I really didn't have a clue what I was doing. You know, I kind of did some of the training, but not much of it. I jump into some of the groups, the training groups that they had, but not fully, you know, I jump, but only do part of the stuff or half-ass it. And it really wasn't until this past year that I really got it, that I really understood the, not just the potential. I mean, I could see the potential when I first started coaching. I knew that it was a business that if you really worked it and you did it, you could succeed and do very well and set your goals and reach them. But it wasn't really until this past year where something clicked and I was like, oh, okay, I can stop being afraid and just do the thing. And so that, yeah, I went diamond a year ago. No, it was a year ago this past June, I think, when I first went diamond. And then I dropped my diamond back in November of last year. Had a dry spell, wasn't doing what I should have been doing to maintain the consistency stuff. And didn't really, again, things didn't click until like January of this year. And when I really realized what I needed to do to get my diamond back and keep my diamond, and not just keep the diamond, but grow the diamond and grow my business. So yeah, that's my story in a nutshell. I have two kids in private college, which is one of my primary purposes for doing this business, because they're in private college and I don't want them to have that debt that they're already starting to accumulate. I don't want them to be paying off school loans when they're in their 40s like I am. So I want to take care of that for them. They both have to go to school. They both need to have their own careers that fulfill them and fill their bucket. But I don't want them to start out with debt like we did. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. So I'm going to talk about the hook post and posting today. So yeah, I started out throwing together this PowerPoint earlier today, and initially I was going to talk about just the hook post, but I think you can't talk about the hook post without talking about some of the other stuff around what a hook post is. So what a hook post is it's a call to action for your business. And most of us were used to hearing the term call to action or a CTA post. But it's a hook post. And sorry, I'm going to make this, there we go. Now I can't see you guys, so I hope you guys can see me just fine. Your hook post needs to be concise. And when this says not only should the copy be concise, that's the words in your post need to be concise. But what you're talking about needs to be obvious also. Again, you need to have a call to action in that post, but you have to be super clear about what you want the people watching your post, what you want them to do. Should they answer your question? Should they share the post? Is there a link that you want them to click on? What do you want them to do? Be very, very clear. Make it self-evident and never ask more than one question. And maybe All right. So here's where I was talking about. You kind of need to talk about, or I kind of need to talk about what goes around a hook post. And that's where some of us have heard jab, 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 hook. And so a jab is a piece of content that's going to benefit your potential customers. In those jabs, and this is all of your posts that are not hook posts. In those posts, you need to remember that you need to educate, empower or enlighten, and entertain. It's those 3 or 4 E's that you want to remember and think about every time you put a post up. Not every post needs to be a sales pitch. So those jabs, just remember, give, and then ask them to do something. Give, and ask them to do something. And for those jabs and even the hooks, always be telling your story. And that's the one thing that I think when I did my own social media audit today, after I was putting this together, I'm like, I think we get comfortable in throwing posts out there. And then we become so comfortable putting just regular posts out there that we forget to continue telling our story and talking about ourselves. And I think newer coaches do a way better job of doing that, because that's where you are at in the moment. And so you have to constantly be reminding yourself, am I telling my story? What am I telling about my story? With posts, it's all about psychology. A good hook post is going to play to your audience's emotions. The way that you type it, you should be able to speak it and feel an emotion. A good hook post is going to cause curiosity, and it's going to educate your audience. The posts that create emotion should create a feeling of awe, be uplifting, or inspire people. Remember, this is your story. Emotions are magnetic, and people want to feel moved and moved in the direction that you want to push them. If you create relative content, that's going to create emotions of awe, and people are going to follow you. Curiosity. Posts that create curiosity, this is where the curiosity marketing comes in. Those are the posts that are going to make others think that there is something out there beyond their current reality. So those are the posts where you are posting, let's say you post a picture of you drinking your Energize, and you talk about how that makes you feel. Don't show what it is. Don't show what the Energize is. Don't show the container with the word on it. Don't show that it's Beachbody. You just show you drinking it and explain how it makes you feel. Explain what you're doing. Create some curiosity. Same thing with the Shakeology. I don't post enough about my Shakeology, and I think that's something I definitely need to make an effort and make notes to just put posts about Shakeology and how does it make me feel? How did I used to feel before I drank it? How do I feel now that I am drinking it? Again, these are the posts that make your audience think that their possibilities are endless. More energy, which is your Energize and Shakeo, losing weight with this great program, but don't tell them what the program is. Educational posts. This is where you have to have the answer. Your posts need to have the best answer and be the best solution. Sorry, guys, I was reading the chat and I got sidetracked. Sorry. Okay, so yeah, educating. This is, again, you have the solution. You have the answer. But as a nursing instructor, as an educator, I want to give you one word of caution. There is so much stuff out on the internet. You can find, if you are looking for something to support your thoughts or your feelings, you're gonna find it on the internet. But be cautious. If you are using a site, if you are citing a source, please make sure it is a reputable source. And when I talk with my nursing students about pulling data and using that as supporting a supporting source, or using it in the papers, using it. I even teach them how to use social media and how they can use it to educate others. But I'm very adamant. .orgs are reputable sources. .coms, not necessarily. And just be cautious if you are pulling data from the internet. It's not all accurate. So educate. And that's one job that we have to do. And let's see. Okay. So here's where I was just going to show you guys some examples of first hook posts. Now, this is, and I'm sorry, I should have blanked her name out, but I didn't. This was actually one of my coaches from 2 years ago that signed up with me, and then she dropped the coaching about a year ago. But I still feel like how she initially approached posting and talking about her story, it was priceless. This was her, I went back to her Facebook page, and this was her actual first post. She put this post up in the morning, and all it was this picture of the I'm doing this, no more excuses. It's for me. My weight isn't going to hold me back anymore. And all she wrote was time to make a change. Put that up in the morning. That was it. Then in the afternoon, now here's where I'm going to make some corrections on how she did it. But here was the post that she put up in the evening or in the afternoon. She talked about things are about to get real. All I need to do is hit the grocery store and make a meal plan for my family. You know, she's talking about she's starting this journey. Now, where I would recommend, and what we know now that we didn't necessarily know 2 years ago, what we know now is curiosity marketing works, and it works better than putting the name of Shakeology in your post, putting the name of the program you're doing in the post. That, guys, if you do what she did, somebody's just going to look at what you're doing and go, oh, well, I'm going to go to Amazon, or I'm going to look it up or Google it myself and just purchase it. You don't want that. And so make sure you cover up the name of the program, cover up the name of the Shakeology. Just trickle in some curiosity things in there and ask people to join you. All right? Again, sharing her story. Once you've done those first initial posts, you can't stop sharing your story. Keep sharing your story. Again, this is a good example of what Jenny did when she shared her story. She was talking about she's 14 days in, 7 days to go, and hasn't weighed in yet. She's not comfortable sharing pictures, but she's talking about how it's working. She's talking about how what she's now learned and how she feels. Again, she's creating excitement just by talking about herself and what's going on with herself. So what do we do? Oh yeah, sorry, I'll get to that in just a second. Before I get to what do you do after you put your post up, I wanted to show an example of a coach or somebody that's been in their journey for a long time. This is Mariah, who's on our team, you guys. And honestly, this post that she put up last week, I read it and I reached out to her and I went, I've got to use that because that is truly priceless. Again, Mariah was just sharing her journey here, sharing her story, but she was also using one of the objections that we get often, and I know she had to have received this objection shortly before posting this post. But by sharing her story and angling it so that she's taking the objections that she's been receiving and turning it into, here was my excuse, here's my truth. Guys, that was priceless. Now, I will tell you, I put a post out I took this post and I used it for my own and kind of reshaped it just very slightly. And I did this one a few days ago. And even though it doesn't look like a hook post, it's a hook post because there on the bottom, why aren't you sipping smoothies with us yet? We're asking them a question. We want an answer from them. Well, I got a couple of people to shoot me a message based off of this alone. So it's a great hook post. So your post is up, and now what do? Well, you got to follow up. And it's not just following up with the people that have made comments or the people that are messaging you. It is anybody and everybody who has liked that post. Because you never know. The people that are liking the posts might have just been too afraid to reach out to you at this point. But simply by you reaching out to them and saying, "Hey, I saw you liked the post that I put up from yesterday. Thanks for the love. Have you ever thought of doing something like this?" Make it conversational. But sometimes just by approaching that type of with a comment or with a message like that, will start a conversation. You never know where it's going to go. Yeah, a percentage of people are going to ghost you. They aren't going to respond to you, and that's okay, because you know what? A year and a half or a year from now, those are the people that may just reach out to you and say, "I'm ready." The ones that tell you no are going to be the ones, most likely, they're going to be the ones that reach out to you also and say, "Yeah, I need to do this now. I'm ready now. Help me." And last but not least, don't ever give up. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to ask for help from anybody on your team. Don't be afraid to post and follow up. And don't be afraid to hear the no's, because the no's mean that there's a yes around the corner. And that's what I got for you. I'll stop sharing here. That's it. That's all I got. Any questions?
You killed it. Such good information packed into that. And I love how you just did, instead of jab, 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 right hook, it's give, 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 ask. Because like you said, we are providing value every time. So we do have to ask. Otherwise, it's always a no.
Right. Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions for Erica? No?
How's everybody doing in their pods?
A few, should I stop recording this? I'll stop recording this. Yeah.